Hey there, science enthusiasts. Matt and Malapur here, and today we're diving into a topic that I bet every single one of you has experienced: procrastination. You know, that thing where you know you should be doing something important, but instead you find yourself scrolling through social media, reorganizing your sock drawer, or watching just one more episode of your favorite show. Ring any bells? But here's the kicker: procrastination isn't just about poor time management or laziness. Oh no, there's a whole lot of brain science going on behind the scenes. So, buckle up, because we're about to explore the neuroscience of procrastination, why we do it, and more importantly, how we can stop. First things first, let's talk about what procrastination really is. Now, you might think it's just putting off tasks, but it's actually a bit more complex than that. Piers Steel, a leading researcher on procrastination, defines it as voluntarily delaying an intended course of action despite expecting to be worse off for the delay. In other words, it's not just about delay, it's about knowingly delaying something even when we know it'll have negative consequences. And here's where it gets really interesting. Your brain isn't procrastinating because it's lazy. In fact, it's working overtime, just not in the way you want it to. Let's break down what's happening in your noggin when you procrastinate. There are two main players here: your prefrontal cortex and your limbic system. Think of your prefrontal cortex as the responsible adult in your brain. It's in charge of executive functions like planning, decision-making, and impulse control. On the other hand, the limbic system is like a toddler throwing a tantrum in a candy store. It's all about immediate gratification and avoiding discomfort. When you're faced with a task, especially one that's challenging or not immediately rewarding, these two parts of your brain go to war. Your prefrontal cortex is saying, "Come on, we need to get this done. It's important." But your limbic system is shouting, "But it's hard and boring. Let's do something fun instead." This internal conflict is at the heart of procrastination. And here's the kicker: your limbic system often wins because it's tied to the more primitive part of your brain that's all about survival and immediate rewards. It's like trying to reason with a toddler. Logic often goes out the window. But wait, there's more. Enter the concept of temporal discounting. This is a fancy term for how our brains value rewards differently based on time. We tend to place a higher value on immediate rewards and discount the value of future rewards. So when you're deciding between watching a funny video now or working on a project due next week, your brain often chooses the immediate gratification of the video, even if logically you know the project is more important in the long run. Now, let's talk about some common triggers for procrastination. One big one is fear of failure, fear of not being perfect. Ironically, by procrastinating, we're often trying to protect ourselves from these fears. There's also task aversion. If something seems too difficult or unpleasant, we're more likely to put it off. And sometimes, it's simply a lack of clear goals or structure that leads us to procrastinate. But here's the really tricky part: procrastination can become a habit. Each time you procrastinate and nothing immediately terrible happens, your brain gets a little hit of relief. "See," it says, "putting it off wasn't so bad." This creates a cycle that can be hard to break, especially when guilt and anxiety get thrown into the mix. So, what can we do about it? Well, luckily, neuroscience has some answers for us. First up, break those big, scary tasks into smaller, manageable parts. This works because it makes the task seem less daunting to your limbic system. Instead of "write a 20-page report," try "write the introduction paragraph." Much less scary, right? Another powerful technique is using implementation intentions, or if-then planning. This involves making a specific plan for when and where you'll do a task. For example, if it's 2 p.m., then I'll start working on my report for 30 minutes. This works because it bypasses the decision-making process where procrastination often creeps in. The Pomodoro technique is another great tool. This involves working for a set amount of time, usually 25 minutes, followed by a short break. It works because it gives your brain frequent rewards, the breaks, making the work more palatable to your limbic system. Mindfulness practices can also be incredibly helpful. By increasing your self-awareness, you can catch yourself in the act of procrastinating and redirect your focus. It's like training your prefrontal cortex to be a better mediator between your goals and your impulses. And here's a powerful one: try reframing your tasks to align with your personal values. Instead of thinking, "I have to study for this test," try, "I'm building my knowledge and working towards my goal of becoming an expert in my field." This can help engage your brain's reward centers, making the task more appealing. Now, let's talk about your environment. Your physical surroundings can have a huge impact on your tendency to procrastinate. Create a workspace that minimizes distractions. This might mean putting your phone in another room, using website blockers, or finding a quiet space to work. Building routines is another powerful strategy. When you have a set routine, it reduces the number of decisions you need to make, which in turn reduces opportunities for procrastination to sneak in. So, let's recap. Procrastination isn't about laziness, it's about how your brain perceives and values tasks and rewards. By understanding the neuroscience behind procrastination, we can develop strategies to work with our brains rather than against them. Remember, overcoming procrastination is a process. It's not about never procrastinating again, it's about recognizing when you're doing it and having the tools to get back on track. As the neuroscientist Andrew Huberman says, the goal is progress, not perfection. So, the next time you find yourself procrastinating, remember, your brain isn't broken, it's just trying to protect you in a misguided way. By using these science-backed strategies, you can start to retrain your brain and become more productive. I'd love to hear about your experiences with procrastination and what strategies work for you. Drop a comment below and let's start a conversation. And hey, if you found this video helpful, why not take action right now and hit that subscribe button? It'll help you stay up to date with the latest science that can improve your life. Until next time, this is Matin Malapur, reminding you that understanding your brain is the first step to mastering it. Stay curious, and don't procrastinate on pursuing your dreams.